Oh, shoot. There we go. There we go. How's everybody doing? Let's do an audio and visual check. Let's make sure everything looks good. Background looks good. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot cleaner. New green screen, blue, red screen. I don't know. It's yeah, looks good. Looks good. Sounds good. Awesome. Give me a minute while I get a few things set up on my end. Thank you for waiting. Sounds good. Looks good. Still a little bit orange. Still a little bit orange. Let me see. Do I look orange? I swear. Let's see. Let's see if we could change this. I look like Trump. Okay. Let's see if we adjust this. There we go. That should be better. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get started. Let's jump into this. How does everything look? Looks good. Looks clean. And boom. There we go. There we go. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Slow Markets. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. As always, there's a Topstep risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. And yeah, we all know this is not a signals class. It's for educational purposes only. I did not get a haircut, but I need to get one here soon. Let's jump to it. It was an interesting day in the markets. Well, interesting 24 hours. Let me go ahead. We're going to start doing the rapid fire. We'll start with the Nasdaq, then crude oil, Nikkei, which is the Japanese market, and then we'll finish it off with gold and see if we can find any good trades. I was trading a little bit earlier. Let's take a look at the daily here on the Nasdaq. Let's go through. Boom. There we go. So here is the daily on the Nasdaq. And yeah, how do we feel about today? How's everyone's day? Power hour was fun. Yeah, like one loser, one winner. But we broke out. We officially broke through a new high. So if we're looking from a technical standpoint on the daily for the Nasdaq, you know, here's a low, here's a higher low, and now we are breaking through, making a higher high. Okay, so right, low, higher low, here's a high, higher high. And so the question is, how high of a higher high can we get? I think I said that right. Yeah, I mean, we did get right up there to those 20,500s overnight, which was really, we got there really quick and overnight. I was not expecting such a move overnight. I mean, I was kind of looking at this zone, right, where this was resistance here on near the middle of June, and then it became resistance at the beginning of July, or support, and then again support on the 12th. And sure enough, if we extend that out, I mean, it's pretty dang close to where we got to. Like, this is a decent zone. I was looking at basically 20,500 to 20,600. Yeah, 20,500 to 20,600 is what I was looking for. And we got it. We hit that overnight and then had a massive rejection. And we rejected. We came right down to, you know, maybe we are seeing the 200s come back into play. And we'll go. I'm going to go through this. There's a lot of support and resistance. This is an interesting zone where we have been before. Look at this. Look at June 28th. June 28th, the market did something very similar. We rallied all the way up into that zone, rejected, and came back all the way down to 20,190s. So we did the same thing. No, we did the same thing again on June 20th. So not once, not twice, but I mean, we just did it again about 3 times. And so there's not a lot of support and resistance in between there, to where if the market decides to rally, we can very easily see those 500s again, maybe 600s. Or if we start to sell off, we could easily see the 200s. So if we zoom into an hourly chart and we can start doing that same analysis, right? We could look back and see where we were at. A lot of support and resistance right here around 20,020s. Or 20,200s, same. That was the resistance from near August 22nd. And then we take a look at this zone that we were looking at from up at 20,600 basically to 20,500. And we turned around right at what, 20,540? I mean, pretty dang close. It's zones, so the price is never perfect. But let's talk about what happened today. Overnight session was just very, very strong. It didn't trigger me into a trade overnight. Unfortunately, that trade that Coach Jay and I'm curious to see how Coach Jay's trade worked out if he got triggered in. But yeah, it was just straight up, like not even any hesitation from power hour, where we're looking for power hour to break above 200 and straight up to, what was this? During London session, right at the beginning. This is the start of the London session. So all the way up until the London session open, it was just straight up. That is the London session open. So all the way up and up, London session open. We've seen a little bit more of a consolidation. Peaked at 5:38, right at around 8 a.m., just about 30 minutes before the New York session opened. New York session opened, sold all the way off back to where we closed during the New York session. Remember what we was talking about last night, where a lot of times the market does like to return back to where we opened. And yeah, we turned right back to where we closed. Closed at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Central, right? Or whatever. The market close. What was that? Not 4 p.m. Central. It would be 3 p.m. Central is the market close. And tested it once, tested it twice, and we've had a beautiful rally off of that. That was about 180 points. About, what is that? Yeah, 180 points off that bounce. And now, as we're going into tonight, one other thing I wanted to point out. This is something I was watching. Take a look at this, right? Buy the dip opportunity. It's a lot cleaner on ES. So, maybe if we look for the market to get back down towards 260s, 240s, somewhere type of a zone to where we look for another higher low and we continue this trend line, maybe we could see something like this. We come down, find some buyers, find a higher low, and then we look to rally. So that's what I'm going to be looking for tonight and going into tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. It's going to be, maybe we see a lot more volatility. I'm not sure. But this is what I'm looking at going into tomorrow. I just want to show you how clean it is on the ES. On the ES, look how clean this is. Very similar to the Nasdaq, but a lot more clean on buying the dips, right? Where it's a lot more, it's just the difference between the ES and the Nasdaq, where it's more consistent. And yeah, sure enough, that was the play today as well. This is where we closed on the ES, and same thing. As soon as we get down here, buy the dip, and let's see if we can come back up to these 58.20s to see if we can test those highs. Let me look at the Nasdaq again. Same thing. I actually do see a decent slow markets trade pulling up. We do have PCE tomorrow. We have a news event that will affect the markets. But here's what I'm looking at tonight. We did have this double bottom on the Nasdaq, and we broke through that double bottom and made a nice technical pattern. We broke through. This became this was resistance right here in the morning. This resistance became support. It looks like it's becoming support again. I'm actually tempted. Let's do this. I'm gonna switch accounts. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to get into a long. Okay, there you go. I'm long. And so as I'm reviewing this, I really like this trade. So anyway, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Is we had this double bottom, and we had this double bottom during the morning, and right near the London close, we rallied up off that. This was resistance. This resistance became support, and we're seeing it become support again. And so I'm a tiny bit early. That's the beautiful thing about micros. And I'm a little bit early. This is becoming support. And we have this nice downtrend line. So I look for us to actually break this downtrend line. As you guys can imagine, there's a nice little pivot point here. You can see that there is some resistance, quite a bit of resistance actually. And so let's see if the Nasdaq could break through this resistance. If we do, maybe we could get a rotation back up to maybe 58s. This will be the next level. Maybe we could see a move up to these 58s, 57s in this zone, and then push these highs. Let's see. Yeah, well, let's just watch this. I'm really curious to see how the Nasdaq plays here. I'm never going to be expecting a move like we did last night, but yeah, I'm seeing this become support again. And if it does, this is a good, decent one-to-one risk reward. Maybe we could get something like that out. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. I might even consider scaling in if we do start to break through these highs. What I would like to see actually is a break, maybe a retest, and then get that continuation. That's what I'm going to look for. Keep an eye out for me on this. I'm going to watch it. We're going to watch this going in. We're going to move over to crude oil, but watch this for me, everybody. I know you guys can. Let's move over to crude oil and keep going. Crude oil. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. So nice. We did get a continuation down. So this was the trend that we were watching for a while, and we broke through that trend last night. We were talking about this where we broke through, we broke down, we went back up, we tested that trend line, and then we sold off. I was actually kind of looking for a little bit more of a pullback and maybe an opportunity to sell it. There is a chance, since we broke through this channel, that we see that bigger continuation down. We did get down to 67 and a half. I mean, do we continue to see a sell-off? We could very realistically see a continuation down towards, that's not very far, 66 and a half, then maybe another test, maybe a test all the way down here towards those 65s, 64s. That is quite the sell-off here in crude. We broke the channel, and for me, it's hands off on crude. I'm going to wait to see how we react. Maybe we look for a pullback and look for an opportunity to short crude and a sell-off back down to those 65s. I'm still a bit hesitant to sell it because we've already moved so far. I'm waiting for a pullback. So being patient, waiting for that pullback and see if we could get into a short. Or maybe we look for, this is a possibility, right? Where we have a pullback and then we look for another channel to form here in crude oil and look for higher lows. So we're kind of in the middle of this, and I don't want to sell down here. I don't want to buy it because we broke through that trend, and there's a lot of momentum behind this crude oil sell-off. And yeah, I don't want to be a seller down here. I also don't want to be a buyer because of this momentum. It's going to be patient, and let's see what the market does. If we have a continuation down here to these 65s, maybe there's an opportunity to buy. Or if we have a pullback up to maybe these 69, maybe even 70, there would be an opportunity to sell it. Let's just see and wait and watch. But I don't see very much coming into crude oil. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. Nikkei had that beautiful cup and handle pattern. You guys remember, I was showing this a little bit during Power Hour, where this is a very interesting, it doesn't happen on this higher time frame very often, but when it does, it's pretty dang good. Let me see what happened to there we go. There's the brush, where we have this kind of, this is a cup, and this is kind of the handle of the cup, and then what we look for is basically a break of that channel. Do you remember this channel I was talking? I don't know if it was last night or the night before, but yeah, this is definitely a channel, a bullish flag, where we have that nice rally, and then we have this bullish flag, and then on a higher time frame, you can see it's a cup and handle. As soon as we break out, we've seen that nice breakout. We've seen this pullback, and now we see that beautiful continuation. And man, did Nikkei rally. That was such a beautiful rally on the Nikkei. We broke through the previous high, very similar to the Nasdaq, where this was a previous high. And as we continue to zoom out, It's the same thing, right? Here's a low. This is now a higher low. This was the previous high. And then do we search for a higher high? Is this a fake out? This could very well be a fake out and push back down, maybe looking for some type of, support. But yeah, technically this is a higher high. We broke through this area of this 39,000. I could see us hitting 40,000. That's going to be the next interesting level, that big psychological number of 40,000 here on the Nikkei. But yeah, do we wait for a pullback and then look to get in long? I think it's going to be that. That's what I'm going to wait for. As I start to look at this a little more, I do see there's a lot of resistance here. And once again, that resistance was right there. Again, just very close, very close. It's a zone. And so, yeah, right now I'm kind of curious. We got back down. Maybe this might have been a better market to buy. This was resistance. Are we going to see resistance become support? Maybe we're seeing that right now. Let me look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, I mean, this was resistance. We've seen resistance become support, right? There's the resistance zone. It became support once. It looks like it's trying to become support again. So let's see. I'm curious, is this going to become support, and are we going to see a nice move higher? Or do we break through this support and then we look for a move down to 39,000, maybe 39,000 evens? So this is a key zone on the Nikkei. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to trade this. I'm already in a long Nasdaq. If I do see something more tempting, maybe we start to consolidate here even more. Maybe we see a bigger consolidation, right? If we come up and test, say, 370, consolidate more, and I could find a better entry or better point to get into a long on a breakout, I will take it. Same for the downside, right? Maybe we start to find support here at 230s, and I could find a better entry or a better reason to take this. Now let's move on to gold. And then we'll get to some questions. Oh, what did I just do? I just wrecked that chart. Let's go back. Let's get that chart back up. And there we go. Okay. Oh, come on. I feel like okay, there we go. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold. Let's take a look at gold on a higher time frame first. We got to 2,700. Wow. Okay. I missed this completely. That happened overnight, where sure enough, that's what it was. This was a bullish flag pattern. We consolidated for a little bit, very much like, almost every market's, right? Where we've rallied, consolidated. We broke through that. We got to 2,700, 2,708, almost 09. Had an immediate rejection. We tested the bottom, and we started to rally. And do we go back down and test it again? Do we come back down and test, 82s? I don't like a trade here in gold. It feels like we're in the middle. I mean, we do have 6 minutes until the 8 p.m. spike in volatility, but yeah, we're right in the middle of this breakout range. Like, this is the breakout range. We're right in the middle. I don't like any trades to the long side or the short side. I would much rather that we come down. Maybe we come down and look for some type of higher low, right? Like, where maybe we find some type of a higher low that we reject off of, and then look for a long. So very similar like we were seeing on like the ES and the Nasdaq. Maybe we just look and wait for that. I'd rather be long this market than short, obviously, because this is such a strong and trending market, and we just touched 2,700. I'd love to see us, if we do get down to a decent entry, and then maybe look for a continuation back up to test 2,700 again. And I think that's about it. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq again. Let's see how this trade's working out. Let's zoom into the 5-minute chart. I'm not liking that. I like the stop loss. My stop loss is a good area, right around 303. This hourly chart gives me a little bit of hesitation. The fact that we broke through, I want to see this hold up as support. We could very well see something like this. As I was talking about gold, we could see something. We could very well see a push back down to 272. 272. We could see a sell off to 272. I don't like that. 272. Yeah, I could realistically see a push back down to maybe 280s, 270s, 280s right there. We hesitated there for a minute. Good stop loss. I like this stop loss. Yeah, just trying to look at both sides of the market, looking at risks. Chauncey, yes, you can have 5 XFAs and a live. 5 XFAs and a live, and then you could trade combines as you need. But let's get to some questions. Send some questions in. We'll watch this trade. I'll talk about this trade. If you guys see anything else that sets up, let me know and we could review it. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to watch this trade. Maybe look for an opportunity to add to this position or close this out. Okay, let's see a question. We have a couple good questions coming in. Coach, I have a question regarding the live account. Why have a Topstep live account and not cash out 150K and open your own account? You could do that, right? You can withdraw 50%. You could take out withdrawals, and with that money that you take out, you could trade your own. I do like trading on Topsteps. It's an account that I built up from XFAs, got it to a live account, and it's live money. You could do as you wish. I do love trading a Topstep account. I built an account up to like 250K. I withdrew $186,000, and with that $186,000, I've put towards different investments. So you could very well do that. It's really up to you. That's the beautiful thing. Just you do have to go through, and you could withdraw 50%. You could keep trading it, continue to make withdrawals. Like, that is the ultimate goal. Like, that's what Topstep is here for. It is to have traders go through, pass a combine, get into an XFA, it's a funded account, and then, trade a live market and continue to take payouts. And then you could use those payouts as you wish. Taxes is a whole different conversation. Like I said, I'm not a tax advisor, and my one and only advice regarding taxes would be to find a local tax guy and have that conversation, because we have traders around the world, and every country, every location will have different tax regulations. So I can't really advise on that. What is the profit split on live accounts? It's the same. I get to collect 90% of my profits, and the only risk I have has been the $150 for 150K XFA. I was doing 5 of them, so 5 times 150 is 750, and then the express funded account activation. So my total investment in this is $1,500, and I'm sitting with a $150,000 live account. That's if you go through it once. Don't expect to just do exactly that. I will always recommend stay with one account until you can be consistent and you can start to prove yourself, and then take out some payouts, and you could always scale and grow. Yeah, I would not recommend getting a bunch of accounts and trying to pass like more than one. You really only need to trade one account, and then start to grow that account and take a payout. And once you gain that confidence, then you could start to scale it. What industry is your other investments in? CDs with some of that money. I did get some CDs, 12-month CDs with 5.25%, and then always great to pay off. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not giving that investment advice. I don't have any crypto. I've never really have been fond of crypto. What does the ES 1400 lot buyer know that we don't? KB, I don't know. And he's referring to there during Power Hour. You guys could rewatch it. There was a trader on the ES, or who knows, there was somebody in the ES futures during Power Hour who had 1,400 contracts, and the longer it sat there, we seen them at one point move those 1,400 contracts. They moved it all the way up to the bid, and they're just forced to fill. And so I don't know. They could be closing a position. They could be opening a position. They could be hedging. We don't really know. The only thing we know is they had 1,400 contracts, and they were not patient enough to wait for the price to go down. They just wanted to get filled. And you've seen that they wanted to buy really quickly. And so my guess, and it's purely a guess, I know Coach Jay and some of the other traders here at Topstep is a lot better than I do, and they know that. And so to me, if I had 1,400 contracts and I had it at one price, but then I needed to move it up to get filled, it seemed like they wanted to get filled pretty quick. And so I don't really know what the idea behind that is, but it was pretty aggressive. They could be covering a short, into the close, or they could be opening up a new position. They could be hedging. They could be doing a whole bunch of other things. But to me, that seemed like they wanted to get out, and so that maybe they just they were not confident enough that the market could get to their price, and so they got it. Who knows? It was interesting. It was cool to see. Yeah, 1,400s is not. It was not a small thing. That's for sure. Let's watch here. We've rejected these 29s a couple times. I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to get into another one right there, because I like this. I like that we rejected off those 20s again. I'm going to zoom in so you guys could kind of see a little bit better. But let's watch this. We see this kind of a flagging pattern, bit of a flagging pattern down here. If we do start to break maybe above these 39s, I could see a move higher. Now remember, it is slow markets, so maybe he's getting long before PCE. Maybe the person is closing out the position before PCE. We just, you never know. Only the person who, maybe even the person who filled those orders don't even know. Sometimes it could be a person, executing a position for a client, and maybe they don't even know, right? Here we go. Let's see if we could get this push. I missed getting into a fourth contract. I'm going to go ahead and limit some risk. I'll risk 69. Risk $69 69 is not a lot. This seems like a decent risk reward. See if we can get a push up to 50s. Let's see if we can get 50s. Let's gain some momentum. We can watch this. What are we targeting? Well, like I said, first area of target could definitely be 52s. So the first thing I'm watching is going to be this zone. This is going to be the first zone I watch. 50. This is a decent zone. We see that resistance there. There is an argument to watch this zone, but then that's just not good risk reward, because I'd be getting an upside down risk reward. So I do like these as the first targets. There's a lot of resistance there throughout the power hour as well, and since we closed. So this is going to be the first area I target into these 50s. And then the next area is going to be right here into these 64s. But I think about risk first. Risk is definitely going to be it. Why micros tonight? This is my live account, and I'm running a class and answering questions, so I'm not going to be okay with jumping into two minis right now. Oh, and plus, I wasn't feeling extremely confident. This obviously, if this trade works out good, you always wish you were in micros, right? But look, $60 for $70 for an hour. It's risking, right? If we do get up there, that's going to be 82. So I'm getting at least a 1-to-1 risk reward. And then the contracts, if I do get up to this, I'm getting a nice 2-to-1, maybe a 3-to-1 risk reward here. And we might fail. We might fail and just completely reject, which I'm not liking that. That was a failure. Let's see how we hold. My first thought is if this, you guys seen this happen before, we break out, we come and we test this, and now let's see if we get the continuation up, because this is the pattern we see, is we break, we retest, and then we get that continuation. So let's see if we get that continuation. I'm going to be a lot happier if we break above 42. Then I'm going to be okay with moving my stop loss tighter. So let's see if we could break above 42, and then I'm going to move my stop loss tighter. And let's see how this one goes. Yeah, hey, you know, it's micros. You guys always give me crap about not trading my live account. And plus, I can't really trade my combines. If you log out now, these orders will not automatically be canceled and are closed. Okay. I can't really trade my combines because I was already trading this earlier. I caught a couple nice trades at tonight already. I actually caught this trade. What this trade was before is I shorted here and I ended up closing for profit at 63. So that was this trade from here to here. Yeah. So I was being more aggressive with these combines. Gold moving a little there. Okay, let me switch back. Live. Okay, there we go. Let's. Okay, keep me posted. I'll watch the P&L. Let's take a look at gold. It is 8 p.m., right? We see a spike in gold at 8 p.m. Is that the normal reversal we've been seeing? Gold's been so bullish. First thing I'd look for gold is a break above these 93.5s. 93.5, and then maybe a move back up towards 95.5. But that could very well have been a buy the dip opportunity. Yeah, that definitely could have been the buy the dip opportunity. I mean, it's a Danielle. Daniel says, am I a trend line trader? I mean, I'm a technical analysis, and trend lines are part of technical analysis. They play out. Crude ripping. All right, let's see what Luke's definition of crude ripping. Oh, yeah, that's definitely ripping. That is quite the move. Right at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Central. Just quite the move in crude. All right, back to the live trade. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a break above these 42s. 42.25. There's a lot of resistance there. A lot of resistance. What instruments are the best to trade during slow markets? I mean, you kind of see them. I went through them. I go through them each night. Nasdaq, crude oil, the Nikkei, which is the Japanese market, they're open right now. And then gold. I mean, you're kind of seeing it. This is more of a scalp. A lot of my slow markets trades are longer term. You could watch the one like last night we put up. And I'll go through that as soon as this trade's done. We'll see if there's any good slow market trade opportunities. This could very well be one of those where if this does break out, maybe this is definitely a trade where if we do break out and get some momentum to the long side, leave this one overnight. Like this would be a slow markets trade where I could get into a decent position. And if we do find a lot of buyers into these 50s, I could close one or two for profit and I keep my stop loss the same. It'd be, basically risk free because I've closed some for profit, keep my stop loss there, and I could leave one running overnight. Maybe we could even get to the 500s again tonight. That would be crazy. I wouldn't expect us to get that far, but having a runner is, I love having runners as long as we are able to manage risk first. Let's see. Nasdaq's really having a hard time right here at these 37s. I mean, it's a zone. Like this is definitely a zone. and we're seeing, man, it's hard to say, right? Like you can see, everything's a zone. Like it's hard to pinpoint an exact one, but not liking this price action. Wait, how do you close while leaving a runner? So I'm in 3 contracts. I can sell one, and for example, if we did rally, if say the market does happen to go up to here, I can close one of the contracts, and I will still have 2 contracts left. I could close 2 of the contracts and have 1 contract left. Like that's how you would close some of it. You don't have to just go like this and get out of all of them at the same time. You could manually just close one and do it that way, which I like to do that a lot better. But so far, so good. I mean, I do like, we're just not really going anywhere. It's slow markets. This could be, this could very well be, like, it's a flagging pattern. It's not bullish. It's not bearish. It's might actually be even a little bit more bearish than bullish. I don't know, because we were selling off from this point, right? Sell off, a flagging pattern. And yeah, we could see a continuation down towards, what do we say, 80 to 72, back down here towards these lows. Like that would be the counter idea to what I'm looking at. The idea is it's a flagging pattern. I'm happening to look for a break to the long side. This is a 1 minute chart. Let me get to the tick chart. Still about the same. Just slowly going. This break, it's a slow breakout. It's slow markets. This is the volatility you typically expect during this. Yeah, it could go either way. To me, the risk reward is pretty dang nice, and I would put this trade at, maybe, if I had to put a percentage on this trade, I would say this is a 60-40 trade. 60% of the time, I would see a breakout to the long side. 40% of the time, I'd see a breakout to the downside, just because we are making higher, like these are equal highs and these are pretty higher lows, and then the fact that we did kind of just break through that, and so I mean it's really close. Maybe a 55-45, but I'm getting a 2-to-1 risk reward. So a 2-to-1 risk reward will allow me to be wrong about 33% of the time. I mean. Yeah, you guys could do the math. So that's why. I mean, even if this was 50-50, like a coin flip, and I'm right only 50% of the time, I'm still getting a good enough risk reward to put money at risk, where I'm risking $66 to make, if we do start to break out, I mean, there you go, right? Even that, 50 being right 50% of the time, this is a profitable, but I can see us possibly seeing 63s, and then if I leave a runner overnight, I'm getting 3-to-1 risk reward. 60% of the time, it works all of the time. Yep. Do I like the NinjaTrader platform? Yeah, I used to be a NinjaTrader platform. I still have my accounts there. Not Topstep accounts, my personal account, some personal accounts for futures and some of my trading. When a zone is touched multiple times, does it become stronger or weaker? Weaker, right? I look at it as weaker, right? Like this is a zone, and every time we touch this, the odds of us, like every time the market gets there, like if we come up to this market again, I'm going to look at it as getting weaker. Like we'd be more likely to break this every time we touch it. But then if we sell off, then the next time we get there, let's just say this. This is an example, okay? It depends on how you look at it. We've touched it 3 times, and right now it's pretty dang strong. So it's looking like we can sell off. And once we sell off, the next time we get there, that has a high likelihood of becoming resistance again. But then if we get there and then we test it maybe like another, right? And then we test it again, then that's going to look very weak. And so it's hard to say whether resistance is very strong or very weak. It just depends on how we get there, when we get there, and what the price is doing when we get there. I will argue and say the higher the time frame, the stronger the support and resistance. I'm just going to go ahead and jump out of this. I'm going to get out at a better price than my stop loss. There you go. This is looking like we might just sell off. I don't mind. If we get back up, I'm going to set it up again. But I'm getting out at a better price than my stop loss because it's looking pretty heavy. Or you could watch Bookmap. Yeah, Rips. Shout out to Rips. Coach Jay, they could read order flow, and you guys could see where the orders are, and you could tell. But even the Bookmap could flip at the same time. Almost all the time. 50% of the time. Let's watch it. Let's see if we could break through this. We could easily see this breakthrough, touch some lows. And if we say it, I'll set it up again. Let's take a look. What's the other markets doing? Not really much. Let's see if we could find a slow market setup. Yeah, let's take a look at a slow market setup. This is something I was looking at for an overnight trade. We do have PCE tomorrow, so anyway, let's do a overnight setup. I do see something that I'm liking. So once again, this is purely for education. What I'm going to be talking about right now, and I say this in terms of, actually, let me do this. Let me switch to a demo account so traders don't get a bad idea. Let's go ahead and do this. So what I want to do is I'm going to look for an area to get into this market if we break out, because I do like that we're in a market, and this is an hourly chart, and this is a bullish market. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. We came down, we tested this resistance. This was a major resistance for about a week. This resistance then became support. And so I'm going to look that if we continue this trend and if we end up having a breakout, I want to be long in this market. And so I would be okay if we do break above this little resistance, like this is a pivot point, and if we do break above this, I'm going to want to be long. And so the trade that I see set up is going to be realistically a buy stop. So maybe a buy stop at 385 and a half. 385 and a half. And then a decent stop loss. Stop loss realistically would be 180, but that's risking 200 points. That's way too much risk than what I like. So I'm going to just put this here as an idea. And then some take profits would be about, I could see 494 being a take profit. So right now that's an upside down risk reward. I don't like it. So I would need to either find a better stop loss or a more realistic take profit or more realistic stop loss. And the way I do that, so let's take a look at the 5-minute and see if it's going to be reasonable for us. Yeah, maybe we could just do something like that. I do like this. Maybe having a stop loss at 292, maybe even a little bit lower, 287. And for the sake of easy math, let's have these match up. 86, 86. So we'd be risking 100 points, 100 points worth of risk. And if we say up here is going to be the take profit, let's just do this as basic math as well. Purely for math. 186 for a take profit. So a decent 1-to-1 risk reward. So 1-to-1 risk reward. And as I'm doing that, man, this looks like it's going to be setting up again. Let's go ahead and switch back. And let's see if this is going to set up again for me. I want to see. I'll talk more about that trade. I want to watch this and see if it sets up again. Because it looks like it wants to either break down or break out. It's coming to an interesting decision zone. Yeah, I want to watch this before I talk too much about that trade setup. I was pretty quick at switching accounts, and I think I could switch accounts fast enough. Let's see how quick I could be at switching accounts while I continue to talk about this one. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about this. If something changes, I'm going to be quick, and I'm going to switch accounts. So that being said, if I'm looking at this to be my entry, if we do break out using a buy stop, meaning once the market gets there, it's going to trigger me into a long. My stop loss would be at 286. My take profit at, I do like this as a take profit, but just because of math, I want it to be the same, 86. So that way it's a nice 1-to-1 risk reward. So what I would do is I'll do the calculation. Okay, so risking 100 points on one mini, that's $2,000. That's way too much. And so I would definitely need to drop down to micros if I'm going to risk 200 points. So switch back to micros. Go ahead, set this up again. So 186 for a buy stop to get in. My stop loss will be 100 points, which 100 points on one micro is $200. And I'm okay with risking about $400. So 2 micros would be the right play. So we'll do a buy stop for 2 micros. And now, like I said, don't mind. Follow along. If you guys want to do this in a demo account, do it. I always love, and I tell traders all the time, follow along. Practice this in a demo account, not a real account, not something you're trying to get funded, but practicing these mechanics is really, really good. It's helped me a lot too, especially when it comes to learning a new platform. So buy stop 2 micros at 386 evens. And so what this is saying, if the market goes up, it's going to trigger me into 2 long micros. My stop loss is going to be at 100 points right below this pivot, and my take profit is going to be 100 points. And so what I do is my risk would be $400. My profit will be $400. That's a good risk reward. We know on 2 micros, $400 is 100 points. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and that lines up perfectly with where I want to put my stop loss and my take profit, 386 or 386 buy stop 2. So there we go. That is how I like to set up my trades overnight here on Topstep X, to where now what's going to happen? Market could sell off. I will not be triggered into a trade. Market can consolidate. I will not be triggered into a trade. I will only be triggered in if the market goes up and it hits 386. It will trigger me into a stop loss, and as soon as, or trigger me into a long 2 micros. And then immediately my stop loss will be active. My stop loss will be active at $400, which equals 286. And then I will have a take profit active at 486. So good 1-to-1 risk reward. And this is how I would set it up. And this trade will run until it either gets triggered in or until I close it out. And so I'm fine with shutting down my platform and letting this trade run overnight. So hope that makes sense. Any questions on that? Question, with a buy stop, won't it put a stop in wherever you buy? No, a buy stop will just simply trigger me into a market, like a market order. So this triggers me into 2 long micros once price touches 386 and a quarter. That will trigger me into a long, and then I have programmed my position with a bracket order of $400 worth of risk and $400 worth of profit as soon as it triggers. So once it triggers, my stop loss will be $400, which is at 286. $400 on 2 micros is 100 points. 100 points is where I want my stop loss. You can say, maybe you, instead of 286, maybe you could say 296, and you could go in here and you could say, instead of risking 400, I could risk 380, and then your stop loss, and you just go through and you could always play with it. But this is purely an example. And yeah, I let these trades run overnight. They don't get triggered in every time. Okay, they don't work out profitable every single time, but this would be a good risk reward. And only 3 things could happen, right? I could wake up and the market's down and I don't even get triggered in. It could go sideways. Great, I don't get triggered in. It goes up, I then get triggered in, and I'm now long 2 micros at that price. Now, what would happen? Well, it goes down, I lose $400. I wake up and I'm down $400. Okay, I knew the risk, I understood it. Or it goes sideways and I wake up and I'm still in a long, and then I can manage the trade. I could say, oh, I woke up, I'm in a long, it hasn't hit my stop loss, it hasn't hit my take profit. I could then choose to decide what I want to do. Can I keep letting the trade play out? Do I move my stop loss? Do I just close it out wherever it's at? Or it keeps going up and it hits my take profit and I wake up with $400. So I love it. I don't have to be in front of my computer screen. I don't have to stress about whether I'm watching the P&L. I don't have to be standing there, like sitting here. I could go do whatever I want. I could sleep. That's what I do. However, we have traders all over the world where you're either out of work, you're either at a job working, or you are whatever you're doing, right? This is just the way I absolutely love how to trade, because it does not require me to sit in front of my computer screen the entire time watching slow markets, right? This is boring. It could be very boring because markets might not go anywhere. We see it all the time, but there's a lot of movement overnight. You guys seen that last night where we rallied 300 points. There's movement overnight. There's a lot of money that can be made, and there's a lot of opportunity in these markets while the New York session is closed. And so, yeah, this is one of my favorite styles, and the style I learned how to trade. Do you wake up early to check if the position filled? I used to, Ricky. I used to wake up. I used to put on a notification on my phone that will make an alarm if my position gets filled. But I ended up just waking up for no reason. I ended up going to sleep or not going back to sleep. And then sleep is a whole lot more important to me than like managing a trade, because you have defined risk. You know where your stop loss is. You know where your entry. And yeah, sometimes I'll wake up early. I'd wake up with my alarm before the New York session or before a news event if my alarm goes off. And then I can manage the trade. Like tomorrow. Tomorrow we do have a news event. Tomorrow we have PCE. So 100% I will have an alarm 30 minutes before the news event. I wake up, I'll look at the market, and I'll say, am I triggered into a trade? If so, I'll close it out because I don't want to hold a trade into a news event. If not, I'll cancel my orders because I don't want to be triggered in because of the news event. So, that's the way my favorite style of trading. Yeah, you don't have to deal with the psychology, but you just have to learn to sleep through it. So I will say, or maybe not learn how to sleep through it. That's not the right way. That's definitely not the right way. But practice, just practice. So you don't feel too stressed having orders on like this. Does that make sense? And I get plenty of sleep. I'm going to get a good 9 hours, 8 hours worth of sleep because the PCE is not until, 7:30 a.m. Central, and I'll be going to bed much sooner than that. Much sooner. I'm going to jump into this trade setup again.
Order filled.
Let's see if we get it. Have a little bit of a rejection here. Looking at this to be higher lows. Let's see if we could get this trade to play out. And then I'll see if we could break through these 40s. Not really much going on tonight. I'll get to one more. If it will fill me. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be a little bit more patient on that one. No, Anna, don't say that. Don't push that around. Learn how to sleep through your trade. No. You did not hear that advice from me. Oh man. Yes, yeah. I'm liking this. If it will let me in. There we go. Oh, well, let's see. I might just, go ahead and move that stop loss. So basically, this is the same trade. Same trade, different pricing. Risk another $60 on it. See if we could get that momentum. And now this time it's going to be this is a 2-to-1 risk reward for the first, and then a good 3-to-1 risk reward on the other two contracts. And I closed those other ones out for minus 50 bucks, 60 bucks on that. So we'll see how this one. Let's see if we can get the momentum to play off the bottom. The 340 zone. Yeah, this 340 zone. Let's see if we get up here, then we can see how the market reacts. And you know, the more we test it, the weaker it gets. Like, that's the way I view it. It's just like everyone who wants to sell at this level, you know, every time we test it, you know, we're filling orders, we're filling orders, we're filling orders. And then when it does break, then we could get some momentum through it. In theory, right? No, it doesn't work that way every single time. Let's get to some more questions. Coach, can trade my 2 XFAs, 50K for one 100K FA. Vince, no. I'm going to say no to that. Asking if you could trade your 2 XFAs for one 100K XFA. I'm going to say no. You could also confirm that with support, because I'm not the best at giving, like, don't trust what I say when I say that 100%. It's better to confirm it with support. You always want to get that confirmation saying, oh, can you do this? So I'm a little bit not as confident. I'd say I'm 99% confident, but you know, maybe there's that 1%. Why do you think men need less sleep? Coop, I'm not going there. I don't know. I don't know. I think everyone needs at least 8 hours of sleep. All right, this dang market is just not in it for me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be less if we're talking about sleep. Yeah, this market's just not in it for me. I'm not going to risk the full stop loss. It's going to stop me out. Yeah, I'm just getting out. What a rejection. Well, we'll see. That was the last one. I'm not going to get in even if it sets up again. I don't like that. Look at that. Look at that stop hunt. Yeah, that's why I trade micros. This isn't something I'm extremely confident in. Take a look at that stop run. What is going on? It's like it knew right where my stop was. Man, what a market. Let me take a look at the minis. Minis didn't quite get there, but I mean, enough. Yeah, that's enough for me. $100, $118. This thing can break through. It's weak. If we was gonna go, it looked like we was gonna go there. This thing, that is an ugly candle. That's 12, 13 points really quick. So let's see if we could break down. It's hunting stops like crazy. Yeah, this is the Asian session, right? It's not worth the risk. That's why I'm trading micros. I don't see anything good until we break out of here. And like I said, I put this order on for a slow markets trade. You know what? I actually like it, to be honest. I'm going to do the same thing on here. I'm going to do the same thing in my live account because I do like this trade. It's going to be a go in here, 400, 400, and it's going to be on micros. And I am going to put this in on the micros. Let me do and set this up. And it's going to be right at 86. So this is going to be a trade I'm perfectly fine with. I'm going to risk a bit more. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Oh, come on. You know, it takes a minute to save, I think. Make sure that these save. It's not a daily loss limit. Okay, I think we're good. We're good. Let me make sure. I always double check everything. I always want to double check everything. Let's see. Let's see if it's going to do that real fast.
Order filled.
Okay, we're good there.
Order filled.
So you see how it did that? You guys see how it placed those brackets really quick? Whenever you get into a trade, it placed those brackets. See? Just say it gets filled. Let's say, yeah, I'm going to show it. Watch. Say it gets filled. Do you see how it immediately places those brackets? So that is, yeah, I always need to double check that. So let's go ahead and get out of that one. There we go. And so I am fine with going to make sure I set it up the right way. Let's go ahead and put that at 86. Buy stop. I'm going to go ahead and do 4. There it is. That is going to be the trade I'm going to have overnight. Risk 8 to make 8. A good one risk reward. Yeah, we might sell off here. This is looking pretty dang bearish for a continuation down to at least the 80s. Someone saying gold selling off hard? Yeah, it is. Gold is dropping. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at the higher time frame. Where can we see gold get to? That is the question. Do we see something like this? Do we see a move down towards these 86? 86? Can we see gold get to 86 for an entry long? I don't know. I mean, maybe we could even see 84, 85, this zone right here. I mean, that's quite the move. That's quite the move. And you can see it, just a straight sell-off right there. From 95 to 89. Let's take a look and see. We do have some support right there at 86. 86 seeming to line up a little bit. There's a lot lining up there. Who's in the trade gold? Who's in gold? Let me know in the chat. Who is in gold? Bid stacked at 86.5. Do I subscribe to the theory that once you hit a daily target, you should quit trading for a day? Arizona Bob. I did that today. I don't think it was a target for me today. That's a good question. So the question from Bob is, Arizona Bob, is do I believe in the theory that we should stop trading if we hit a daily profit? So I'm okay with stop trading if you hit a daily profit. It just depends on where you're at on your trading. It depends on that. It depends on your strategy and you as a person. If you have a bad habit to keep trading and then you tend to lose those profits, then yeah, I would definitely encourage you to stop trading once you are, you've made a profit goal. So that would avoid you to not give them back, right? I love that lockout feature right here. I used it today. It wasn't based off of a profit, but it was based off of the market. So today in my live account, and I'll go through and I'll talk exactly through this trade. I placed only one trade today. You can see trade history through here, right? Show trade confirmations. Maybe. I don't know why it's not showing. I don't know. Am I doing this right, everybody? I should be. Anyway, let me look. Because I did it on my phone. I wonder if it doesn't do it if I did it on my phone. Preferences? Okay, let's go charts. Oh, right there. There we go. There. There it is. So yeah. So here is my trade today, and I made $7,000 on this trade. I made 7K, and then once I was done, I just stopped. So yeah, basically the same thing. We had the sell-off. We got back down towards this 200 level. let's see here. So we got back down. This is the level I was watching. This is the breakout. This is where we closed during the yesterday's thing. And we got down there. We showed the rejections and basically what I was talking about, right? Let me show you what I was watching, because maybe that is what you guys want to see, is if I show you exactly what I was watching. Okay. So this is exactly what I was watching. Let me get this there. Come on. Let me put some type of a line so that way I don't get too confused. Vertical line. So there we go. I'm going to show you exactly what I was watching and what I was looking for and why I got into it. But I locked my account up after this one trade. So here is that. Okay. These are a little bit off. For some reason, I see this as being off a little bit. So we had this huge rally off of 200, right? We consolidated down here, tested 200. Huge rally. We got this pullback. I liked that we got this pullback to this. You can't really see it on the 5-minute chart. But yeah, sure enough, this was a zone. This is a decent zone. We peaked down there once, twice, a couple times. You can see how that looks right here. And I got into, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 37. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just off. So that's not where I is entering. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, so disregard that. I don't know why all those prices are right there, because that's not accurate. Anyway, let me just explain it like this. That's heck with these chart executions. Here we go. So back to where I was saying. Let's go. I want to explain that a little bit better, because I think today was an interesting lesson. Where were we? Right there. And I'm going to show it to you as I was seeing it, because I scaled into this. I scaled into 7 contracts. Where's the vertical line? Right there. And so if we go into this, there we go. Gosh dang it. So let me show you what I was watching and what I was looking at. This is a 1 minute. Let's do a 100 tick chart. And I'll show you, because I execute off a 100 tick chart. And the setup was a 5-minute chart. And so you could see this was a pretty good sized rally. Like, here's the big rally off the bottom, big rally off the bottom. We had this pivot point that I was watching. You could see when we started to break out a little bit, it became like, right, there's a pivot. Like, this is the zone. I'm like, okay, this is a zone. You can't see it on the 5-minute because your 5-minute's so big. And sure enough, it became support again. We broke through that. Right, looked like a run of liquidity. It was also interesting because take a look at this. We break through. We held these 24s. We came back down. Then we started to consolidate. Okay, very similar. You can see over here on the 5-minute chart. So I was looking at this 5-minute candle. So that's the 5-minute candle I was watching right there. This 5-minute candle, to me, looking for a 3-bar reversal. I'm like, okay, well, we're seeing consolidation here. We bounced off this one. We're consolidating. I started to get in right here. This is where I started to get in. I think I got in one at 38. So I believe it was, let's just take a look. We could take a look. Orders, trades, orders, trades, orders. Let's take a look. MNQ. This was Nasdaq. Okay, here we go. I was actually marketing in. So there you go. 53, 53. This is the zone. This is where I was scaling in. So you could take a look at this. You could probably even see the timestamps. I don't mind. So 53, 53, 56, and then I continue to scale in until 48. So let me go through 53s. Let's see how it lines up on the 5-minute, because I was preempting this breakout. So I was getting in as it was going up. So let's take a look. Yeah, so I was getting in up here. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know why it showed on this one candle, but I was getting in up here. So I got into like 3 or 4 contracts up here. We pulled back. We did hold this again. And then I do know I got into more contracts here. So we did make this little pivot. I got into more contracts. Now my stop loss the entire time was down here. I think my stop loss was at like 15. So my stop loss was right there. Yeah, that's where my stop loss was. It was below this and this. So that's where my stop loss was. And so I added some contracts there. We pulled back down. We consolidated some more. And I once again, I added 2 more contracts. I think the 2 contracts I added was either right there or somewhere right here. So I added 2 more contracts right there. Total of 7 minis. So 7 minis is what I was in, I believe. Let's make sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I was in 7. My last one I got filled at 60. So my last one was at 60. So that must have been my last one. My last one I entered was probably right there. 60. That's 60. I think I remember. Yeah, break of this. Break of that 3-bar reversal. Yep, that was it. The last one I got in was there. And so, as you can see, maybe my fills will show up. Let me see if the fills will show up to sell this. Will the fills show up? Maybe. There's my entries. There's my entries. 40, 40, 40. Where's the 60 entry? I said I got filled at 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interesting. Yeah, 7 minis, whatever. Take it as you will. You guys get the idea, right? So anyway, we rallied up, and just taking a look at the 5-minute chart, you guys could see where I was looking to close them. I closed one out near the top of this resistance, right? So I'm in 7. I closed one out right there, right as we're getting into this resistance. Closed another one out as we're coming up into this resistance here. So I closed 2, waited, held. I almost added here again. And once again, we broke out, closed out another one. I closed out the rest as was coming up. My ultimate target was this right here. This was my target right there. It wasn't too big, but yeah, 318, this area was my target. You can probably see that better here. You can, yeah, it looks a lot better on the tick chart, but you can see that 318 right at the point. This is my targets. You can see that there was some support and resistance right there, and that's where I was filling between 6 and 18. It looks like I got 18. 318 right at almost the tip of that one right there. So that was the trade. And yeah, who knew that was going to be a nice exit? One trade, and then I locked out. So sometimes, and you guys hear me say all the time, you see me when I review trader statistics, it's the same thing. Less is more, and I don't mind locking out based off that one trade. And I was like, that was good. We started to sell back off again. And I was like, I don't mind if I don't trade for the rest of the day. We did sell off, and we started to chop around down here. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I called it a day, and I traded some XFAs, or not some XFAs, some combines, and called it a day. So yeah. Anyway, let's take a look. I went on for a minute there. We have 10 more minutes left. Let's get to some more questions. Sorry I didn't get to any statistics. We always review trader statistics. So yeah, if I missed it, I'll always continue to review trader statistics. Almost every slow markets. We always have time. But let's get to some questions. Thanks, Richard. What's the max drawdown reached on that trade? I don't know. Maybe $1,500 was the max drawdown. I was risking. My stop loss was at like the bottom of this candle. My stop loss was like, I think my stop loss was at 19. So my stop loss was at 19. The most drawdown, we didn't even get to the bottom of that candle, really. So, and you just watch. I don't mind closing my trade out early for a loss. The max drawdown was right here. So whatever 24 is probably around $1,500 was the max drawdown, I'm sure. 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500 Yeah, look at us just sell off. Yeah, we just broke through that. And yep, that we tried to retest and break back in. We didn't. We failed, and now we're going straight down. Yeah, let's see if we could get to these 290s. Maybe we could get back down towards 272. 272. Mohammed, I'm super happy. Just requested a payout across 3 accounts. Can you please check my statistics and give me a tip? Okay, you know what? Sure. If you send them in the Topstep Discord, I'll review just yours. Just because I read that one. Just because I read it. But put a description, and we only have 9 minutes left. What do you think about leaving a short NQ overnight? I mean, if it follows your strategy, I have a long that I would like to get in on the NQ if we break to the upside. But that's way up here. Heck, I might even consider moving it to right there. That might even be a decent area. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move my long to 346. I like to short this. Yeah, I mean, shorts are working. Shorts, I mean, to be honest, shorts look really good. This is a nice sell-off. This is a pullback. And we could very well see a test of these lows. Maybe can we see a continuation down to, I don't know, 20,000? Can we see that? Will we see that? Yeah, that's realistic. What you're seeing in my chart, a sell-off down to 20,000 is not unrealistic. We do have to get through a lot. There's a lot to get through, like the 2200s. This is a major support. Yeah, this is a major support, right? That's going to be tough to get through. But once we get through this zone, then yeah, there's a few zones that we need to get to. But if we were going based off of how today's price action was, and we just go like this, and say if we get another move like that, yeah, we could test lower. That's very realistic. It is PCE tomorrow. So yeah, if the markets do not like PCE, we could move a lot. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. Is this your account, Mohammed? Okay, real quick before I end, give you advice. You said you just requested a payout. How much did you request? I mean, you have 29.16. If this is times 3, you're at about $9,000. I love to see traders pay themselves. Good risk reward. I mean, I don't really have much in terms of suggestion. You're cutting your losses short, which is great. Your winners running. That's great to see. You're being selective on the days you trade. Looks like you had one really good day. I'd like to see more trades, more days, more consistency. You only have, what is this? A couple weeks worth of history. So definitely get more days under your belt, consistent, before you could really judge based on your statistics. So I would definitely say another 2 weeks, but stay consistent. I like that you took a payout. I would always be this. I'd be careful. I see traders run into this a lot. Everybody is they take out payouts too fast. I will say everyone should be able to take a payout, right? Like once you start trading good, you start making money, it's really good to pay yourself, but don't do it too quick. Okay. You don't want to handicap yourself in terms of putting you into a worse position. So you're up to $2,900. I think this is I don't know what size of an account this is, but just understand where your max loss is and don't take out too much to not leave yourself enough room to have some type of a drawdown. Drawdowns happen. They always come. If you do have a drawdown, it looks like maybe you have 2 or 3 losing days. It's very hard to tell how bad of a drawdown you would run into, but right now maybe your drawdown's like $300. Yeah, I always would like to say leave a decent cushion that you feel comfortable enough that if you have a cold streak or you start to struggle, you just don't blow your account. But I do like that you're paying yourself. Just be aware of that. And only you can determine what is a decent enough cushion for you. So, yeah, always take a payout when you can. No, I'm not going to say always. Always seems like it's you have to, right? I haven't taken a payout, but I have a different plan in my mind. I want to build a big cushion because I could take a payout. I could take 75K. I'm not going to do that. I was going to actually announce a fun little thing I'm trying to do. Yeah, your daily loss limit is 160 right now to control your risk. So yeah, Mohammed, if you have a daily loss limit of $160, then yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, you could take out half and still leave yourself with enough cushion, right? Because if you take out half of that'll leave you $1,500, and $1,500 with $160 drawdown, that's like 10 days of daily loss limits. That's a reasonable cushion. So it really depends up to your trading. Mr. Pods, Dakota, can you show your statistics? I show my statistics on here a lot. You can't really see them on here on a live account. So, yeah, once we can, then I'll show them. But I showed my statistics here almost every time someone asks. Yeah, someday I'll figure it out going to bed. Yeah. All right, everybody. I think we're coming to the end of class. 3 minutes left. Last couple questions that I might have missed. What did I miss? How many years have I been trading? I don't know. I think I'm on 14 now. How long did it take you to get to 150K? I think I'm on like a month. Has it been a month? I don't know. Yeah, it's been a month. SPY FI, I can't give you a solid answer on that. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but live accounts obviously are a lot more sensitive than simulated environments. Yeah, simulated environments and live accounts are two different leagues. Like live accounts, live money, real money, orders go through. You guys see it all the time. Like, look at this. Like, if I was to place an order, you would see it come into the order books. And it's live money. It's real money. It's not something you could just play around with on the back end and show it. Yeah, and I do know that with any company, showing like real live statistics and live money, I don't know that. And what's going on behind the scenes. But man, I've showed the statistics of quite a bit in my combines and everything. It's crazy how you get 250 when you actually, as you show, at least don't go like crazy lots. Yeah, you can make and lose a lot of money just trading, trade less than 5 contracts. Like 5 minis, you can make and lose a lot of money. Like this move today, they're just theoretical. One contract today, if you were to catch the top and the bottom, one contract, just one mini, if you were to just happen to catch the top and the bottom, or not even the entire move, let's just say you catch a portion of it. Let's just say you catch, because yeah, top and bottom is unrealistic. Let's just say if you catch a portion of it, the majority, let's just say 300. Let's say you capture 300 points just today. That's $6,000 with one mini. Okay, 5 mini, that's $30,000 in a single day using 5 minis. That's a lot of money. You can make or lose a lot of money really quick. What's unrealistic? I mean, it's unrealistic to say you could catch top and bottom. But yeah, there's plenty of traders here at Topstep that we see that can trade really, really good. And they catch not the exact top and not the exact bottom, but they could catch a good piece of the middle. They catch a good piece of the trend, as Mick's famous quotes say. But yeah, even if you catch just like the nice middle juicy part, right? Where, hey, you missed, you can't catch the top, you can't catch the bottom, but you caught the middle. And it's realistic. Maybe you caught the breakdown, and I could see traders targeting 200, and you could even catch, let's say even less than that, 200 points. 5 minis, 200 points. That's 20 grand in a day, right? Or even overnight. You guys see how I hold overnight trades, and I've done it before. I've held, and you guys could watch it. It was live on YouTube. I've held 30 contracts live in a mini account, live 30 minis overnight. And, unfortunately, I didn't catch a big move like this, but I've caught pieces. I've caught a 40K winning trade in a day. So, yeah, trade small. One mini is all you need. You see me trade micros all the time. $124 in a single day is still a lot of money, depending on where you are as well. Verify your math seems off. No idea what you mean by that, dude. What? Verify what math? I could, maybe I didn't do the math right, but I mean, 200 points with one mini is $4,000. 200 points with 5 minis is $10,000. That math is right. Yeah, that math is right. Minis move. No, 1 point in a mini is $20. 1 point in a mini is $20. 1 point in a micro is $2. Okay, maybe you're talking about micros, because micros here it's $2 per point. So better check yourself. I'm joking. No, that's fair. I get confused too sometimes. You just make sure that you're understanding the difference between a mini and a micro. So, all right, leave it at that. No, that was a fair question. That's a fair question, but always just be cautious whenever you try and say something. I do it too. Trust me. There's many times where I always screw up saying something, and I don't mind being corrected. But anyway, take care, and I will see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning. It is going to be Topstep TV during fast markets. I'm going to be on with Coach Jay. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I love trading with Coach Jay. It's always fun. Fridays have always been rough for me. Let's see if we could go ahead and try and get it turned around. We'll see how it goes. Remember, also, big shout out, Trading with the Pros. That was a beautiful segment on Wednesday. If you missed it, rewatch it. I'm excited to see more of that, where we get traders in the audience to come on to Topstep TV and maybe trade and pass a combine, maybe ask questions. So love to see that. Other than that, take care and see you bright and early. Bye.